This is the True Underdog podcast. And a lot of people that don't know you, I want to build this thing from the bottom up. I want them to get a picture of who you really are, where you came from, and how you built your fortune. I've seen your book. Some of my previous companies have used your 10X program. It's magnificent. But let's talk about Grant Cardone growing up in Louisiana and not having a pot to piss in. Let's go.
So I really relate to your title of the podcast, and felt like my whole life I've been an underdog. Even today, really feel still like, you're dealing with some big companies. You go in these big groups. You're like, dude, I'm nobody here. Like my whole life, I felt more like a flea on a dog or a tick than the dog. I lost my dad when I was 10 years old. My mother didn't know how to go out and get income. So she was in conservation mode. My whole life, I've just felt a little like, and it didn't help, by the way, I'm not trying to be a victim here, but it didn't help that I made a lot of poor decisions when I was coming up that didn't make me feel better about myself. How you behave in accordance to your potential, only you know that. When I go to sleep at night, I know whether I'm doing what I could do. The coulda, woulda, shoulda, man. Maybe if you coulda, you shoulda. Everybody's got that simple little bull saying about, coulda, woulda, shoulda, everything. But the truth is, if I think I can do it, man, it haunts me if I don't do it, and it makes me feel less about myself. So I've suffered from that my whole life, including a drug problem for 10 years of my life that didn't help.
And the fact that you can talk about that and where you're at today is important, because listeners and viewers out there are like, Grant Cardone, and you're exploding. You've got over 10 million followers on everything. You're on CNBC, you're on Fox News, you have your own TV network, you have Undercover Billionaire. You got a lot of cool things going on, empowering people and serving people. But they don't understand. Like you said, you had this addiction. You had a broken family, some issues going on when you were growing up, and you didn't make that excuse. You made mistakes, but you learned from them.
Yeah. Every time I become a victim in anything, like I'm a victim. So nothing bad has ever happened to me. There's been stuff happen to me like it's terrible, bro. Like it's terrible, including Undercover Billionaire, by the way. That experience was awful, but I'm the one that agreed to go do it. I was beat up when I was 23 years old, had 70 stitches put in my head and face. I was the one that got around these bad guys. I agreed to the first meeting. So I just find that I'm responsible for everything. And the more responsibility I assume, even if it's more than I really could have in a situation, I'm never going to hurt myself by assuming I can do more or take more responsibility. Something can be done about everything. And I had something to do with everything that's happened to me, including keeping me down in my own idea that I can't do more.